But basically it takes notes for you during the meeting. Actually. And so if somebody says something funny or a highlight, rather than me go back into it and look for it, I just have to hit the highlight button, and then all of a sudden it pops back in, and it's as if magic. All of a sudden that I have it. So it's cool. It's really cool. And then you can make little shorts of it, which I like. Oh, by the way, hi everybody. Welcome to our 162nd 162 meeting of our current event show. Of course, it started as the Mastermind Roundtable, and now it's our current event show where we take our opinions, share them with the world. And by the way, we are now up, if I could find my notes, all of a sudden my notes got hidden behind the Zoom screen and they just won't appear. I guess, I don't know. Now I have no notes. So anyway, just remember everything you hear is an opinion. And now I got to go look for my notes and see why they're not popping up. Oh, there they are. They're on the other screen. I have two screens. All right. So yes. So yeah, we have 354 YouTube subscribers, and the average view on Facebook is about anywhere between 40 and 70. So I doubt people are watching the whole hour, but hey, if you are, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. And we're going to try to keep you entertained today. So just remember, again, everything that you hear today is an opinion. I want to thank Sound Broker for their financial support for making this all happen. And I just want to remind you that in most cases, it's better to keep your mouth shut and appear stupid rather than remove all doubts when you open it. However, in this case, we're going the other way. So there you have it. So who's got something they want to say before I talk about what I want to say?
Well, I'm just going to congratulate you on the continued shows. I remember back in the early days, it's been a while since I've been back here. I was telling Jan in the pre-show that I noticed he was here in the States. So I'm glad to have you here visiting us from your exotic travels.
Yes, you poor Americans, you poor Americans. Sorry.
Well, I have to admit, every time I see one of your Facebook posts with a dish that I would just only could imagine how good it tastes. I mean,
yeah.
The restaurants you go to, either you're just finding all the best ones or everyone's great where you live.
Everyone is great. We haven't been to a bad restaurant yet that I could think of. Even if you go into the 7-Eleven in Thailand, the food is good. It's crazy. McDonald's is gourmet. Of course, but you have to pay. McDonald's is more expensive there than the average restaurant, which is crazy. Who would think that?
And who would want to do that if you could have a great Thai food?
Yeah, but McDonald's in Thailand is McDonald's Thai. So, they do have some Thai dishes, and it's cool. And of course, the sauces, in Thai food, in cooking, you basically season the food and then you put a complimentary sauce with it. And that's what they do at McDonald's as well. It's very cool. I got to tell you, it's really cool. But I don't go there regularly. Our favorite restaurant is called La Yuan. It's absolutely delicious, beyond off the hook. It's a combination of Vietnamese and Thai food. And most, I'll tell you something. The culture shock that I have here in the United States right now is how expensive things are. Yesterday, I took my next door neighbor and his two children, who were 13 and 15, out to a fast food Mediterranean restaurant. And it came to $103. I was shocked, absolutely shocked, that $103 for fast food Mediterranean restaurant.
Fast food.
Yeah, and it wasn't that fast either. That was the crazy part, But you know what really sums it up? Something happened to me. I went to a manicurist that I haven't been to in a while. I needed to get a manicure because here in Las Vegas, it's very, very dry compared to Thailand, where it's very, very moist, and your hands start to chap. Everything starts to chap here. It's so dry. And when you're used to being in a moist environment, it's really a shock to the system how dry it becomes. So you got to moisturize up and do all that. But my hands seem to chap. So I went to the manicurist, and I haven't seen her in a long time. And yada, yada, yada. At the end of the session, I said to her, how much do I owe you? And she says, well, it's $30. And I said, $30 to myself. I didn't say anything to her. I'm thinking, wow, in Thailand, the same manicure and pedicure would only be $9 at one of the nicest places I know. Anyway, so I looked at my money and I didn't have a 10. I had two 20s. I handed her the two 20s and she said, thank you. And I said, wait, I thought I gave you two 20s and you said it was 30. She says, yeah, you did. Thank you. I said, wait a second. This is your place. I don't think I really need to tip you. You owe me some change. And then she gave me a lecture. And I'm not kidding. She gave me a lecture on how manicures take too much of her time and she doesn't make enough money on manicures. And I thought to myself, well, why didn't she just say it was more money than trying to basically finagle a tip out of me? I thought it was nuts. And that's the difference between America and Thailand. They wouldn't say anything to you. They'd just be so thankful that you came in and used their shop. And here in America, they demand more from you. It was really crazy. I don't know what you think about that. Am I out of my mind?
Well, the cost
That's a different question.
Yeah. I mean, she should be asking for what it costs, but if nobody else is, then she's caught between a rock and a hard place. She's paying too much for rent.
Yeah, whatever, but the whole thing about the lecture of how much money we should make and the time that it took to do the manicure, she could be doing this and that. I thought it was outrageous, Anyway, moving on.
Jan, owner of Sound Broker.
Yes. I love that. I love your dashboard or whatever I'm looking at there. It doesn't look like a dashboard. Can't really tell what it is, Kurt, but
It's the ceiling.
it's a ceiling. There you are looking at the road. That is, I take that's Washington, or are we in Oregon now? It's only an opinion. Could be anything. So did you know that if you lived in Korea right now, you just gained 2 years on your life? If you lived in South Korea right now, they just changed their system of of their calendar, and everybody just became 2 years younger. So if you were born today, you won't age for 2 years. It must be tough on the parents. I'll tell you that. Well, is this thing on? Testing. All right, what else is the other story? What's going on with the heat wave here? Is anybody here experiencing heat wave? What about in California? Or where are you, David? Are you experiencing heat wave?
Well, I'm just passing through Chicago, so hopefully I'm not going to get the heat wave, but I'm going to get the smoke from the Canadian fires.
Yeah, I heard there was. By the way, tell people what you're doing because it's kind of cool.
Okay, so I'm on a tour bus right now with a band called Hotel California, a salute to the Eagles. And these guys are the only authorized Eagles tribute band. And they're really good. And they've been doing this for a long time, and they've got this entire show down to a well-oiled machine. And about a month or 2 months ago, their sound guy, who was 64 years old, fell out of a tree. I don't know what he was doing, but he was in a tree and he broke things. And so they hired me, and they're very happy with me, and I'm very happy with them. I'm having a great time mixing Eagles. I mean, they sound like the Eagles and they play like the Eagles. So I'm having a great time, and they've got a beautiful Prevost bus. And last night I was in Frankfort, Kentucky, and tomorrow I'm at Summerfest in Milwaukee. And then I go down to Indiana for a couple of dates, and then I have another couple of days off, and then I go to Kansas, and then I go home.
Sounds fun, David. But did anyone tell you that when somebody says, shake a tree to get a job, that wasn't what they meant for you to do?
What was that? Wait a minute.
I said, when somebody told you to shake a tree to get a job, that wasn't the way to do it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Whatever he did, he definitely didn't do it right.
Hey, John, not only that, in 3 days from now, he could say, hey, we're not in Kansas anymore. Just a quote from,
Well, I'm sitting in the back of the bus with all the guitars right now. There's like 15 guitars in this show. Mandolin, banjo, violin, pedal steel.
Just like the Eagles.
Double neck. Exactly. Whatever
Have
they
they been
use.
getting good audiences?
What was this?
Have they been getting good audiences?
They sell out every show. Every show is sold out, and they're asked to come back before they even leave. So it's pretty impressive. The audience stands and cheers, and they're not a young audience. They're not their 20 and 30 somethings. And they're standing and cheering and yelling for them to come back. It's pretty cool.
And they are so mellow. The guy that runs this band, he has no ego at all, or so it appears.
Well, Jan's been dealing with them because they're upgrading. They carry their entire monitor system with them. They carry the console, the in-ears, the wireless mics, all the microphones. So every night the sound is exactly the same. What's that, Kurt? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, so everything sounds the same every night to them. And I just walk out front and I use the console du jour, and I have a bunch of files for the band. It's hotelcal.com, hotelcal.com.
How long did it take you to pick up the show? I mean, coming in
to learn it?
The show, yeah, to learn it.
I showed up and did it. That was it. I mean, they already have console files for almost every console. So it wasn't like I was starting from scratch. They had EQ and they had the preamp levels and all of that. I just had to learn who had solos because they're constantly rotating solos around, just like the Eagles did. So
you had to learn the cues. That's all you've been doing that for a long time.
What was that?
You've learned the cues, from all the years of experience. You've been able to pick up the cues.
I never saw the Eagles, so I didn't know who was singing each song. It wasn't like, oh, this is Henley singing. I didn't know that, so I had to learn that. But they gave me a cheat sheet, the set and who was singing, and if there was a violin on that number or the pedal steel. And then I figured it out. It's really fun. I got to tell you, this is really fun. And we stay in nice hotels. We don't sleep in the bus except for every once in a while. And they play performing arts centers, and they have symphony orchestras on some dates and theaters. They don't play any clubs. They're too big to do that. So
do they ever do cruise ships?
There's a rock and roll cruise coming up next March, and it's got Dave Mason, and it's got War, and it's got Foreigner, and Randy Bachman, and Melissa Manchester, and a whole bunch of people, and 2 tribute bands. They're one of the 2. So hopefully I'm going to be on that by then. The sound guy won't be back.
Yeah.
Make sure you feel really good before you come back, Greg.
Yeah. Don't fall out of any trees, man. It's it's almost like, hey, you think I was born yesterday? All right, yeah.
So,
Let's see what shakes out of the trees. All right, yeah, I got it. But hey, Dave, you do a lot of cruising, and I just read because when you took me on that cruise with Charo, wasn't it the Freedom of the Sea? I think that's where we were on.
Oh, it was the Vision class, so it could have been the Vision. Yeah, it was probably the Vision of the Season. They had ships that
so the Royal Caribbean now is just releasing that big ship that you were telling me about. It's called the Icon of the Seas. Listen to this. It's 365 meters long. That's 1,200 feet. Will weigh a projected 250,000 tons. And basically it'll be like the size of 2 Empire State Buildings, on a sea. It's like crazy.
So the way they measure a ship is by metric tons, how much water it displaces. and the Titanic was 42,000 metric tons. And the Nimitz class aircraft carriers are 140,000 metric tons. And this ship is 250,000 metric tons. That's how big this ship is.
It has 7 pools. It has 7 pools. It has 9 whirlpools. It's like, I mean, it's really impressive just to see what it's like. It's like it's an island that's with motors floating around in the sea.
We have 4,986 passengers with 2,500 or 2,200 staff.
Yeah, 2,350 crew. It'll hold 5,600 passengers. That's
56,
crazy.
okay.
That's crazy.
And I've been on a lot of Royal Caribbean ships. They really design them well. You know, a lot of times you may have a lot of people on it, but you don't feel it a lot. You know, somehow it's like Disneyland with lines. You don't see the lines. You just know they're there. It's the same with the people.
Yeah, it's I've only been on one cruise, but it's definitely an interesting. If you've never gone on a cruise, I highly recommend it if you can.
Well, you remember the promenade down the center of the ship? It was like
Yes.
3 feet tall and 50 feet wide, and it's just giant indoor space. This one is even bigger than that. But
Well,
most
look amazing on the pictures. Look amazing.
You're in the hallways and maybe one centrum where you can look up. This ship has a giant hole down the center of it, so people don't feel like they're confined.
Well, Dave, you live in California. John, you live in California. I've got good news for you, a little bit of good news. California is no longer the most expensive state for gas. We have to give the crown now to where Kurt lives in Washington, because Washington now has become the most expensive place to buy gas in the United States.
Continental United States.
Kurt, could you validate that?
I thought
We
Hawaii.
just filled up in Oregon. It was quite a bit cheaper.
That's cool. That's cool. Another thing that I thought, is pretty amazing is Wimbledon is coming up this year. It's like, the tennis match Wimbledon, and they're going to be using artificial intelligence, right? I find this hard to believe, but they're going to use artificial intelligence for video highlight commentary. IBM Watson, I guess it's the artificial. What do you guys think of that?
Gotta hear it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge tennis fan, although I like Wimbledon, but yeah, it's better than listening to John McEnroe the entire time.
Well, we'll see. I wonder what kind of voice they could have any voice they want. They could actually have John McEnroe's voice as a mellow person. I don't know how that would work, but they could do that, with artificial intelligence, they could do anything.
Well, gentlemen,
right now,
I'm going to need to run, but I would say I prefer artificial intelligence over natural stupidity.
That's right. Well, there you go. That's right. That's why I always wear a blonde wig when I want to hide my intelligence. That's it.
You're going to get us all in trouble. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for letting me drop in.
Bye, John. Anyway, the other thing that I will say is that I was just reading an article about Goldman Sachs is projecting right now that 80% of women's jobs can be disrupted or eliminated with artificial intelligence when it starts to really kick in. That's a sad thing.
That's the lower level jobs that women fill, the secretarial stuff and the clerks and all that.
Yeah,
It's sad. What are you going to do?
yeah, it is. I mean, it is sad. It's a horrible thought process. It's just terrible that artificial, but throughout life, I mean, look what the computer did. The average person right now can do so much more that, like for running Soundbroker right now, if I didn't have it all automated the way it was, I would have to have a staff of about 20, 30 people. But because it's all automated, we can handle it with a lot less people.
Listen, as we get more and more electric cars, we're not going to need mechanics. They're out of business. I mean, it just keeps changing. All these jobs get eliminated. Parking lots.
They change, actually. You know, they changed to more like backline technicians to equated it to the musical world, you know.
Well, they're going to still need crewing staff to put in a show. I mean, I can't imagine artificial intelligence doing, hanging of speakers or lighting or running cable or anything like that. But maybe. I mean, they've got these. One of the jobs that they've eliminated is people at the airport. They no longer have maintenance people cleaning the floors. It's all done by a computerized vacuum cleaner and floor washer. So, I mean, artificial intelligence is definitely, changing everything. But, that's what happens. So
They'll
anyway,
be good, and as in any new, emerging technology, there's going to be good and bad with it,
Yeah. And speaking of, we mentioned Wimbledon this year. The Wimbledon prize money is going to be divided up against those guys. It's basically they're dividing $56 million now amongst the people that are playing at Wimbledon. And I thought that was an amazing amount of money for tennis. 56 billion that they're splitting amongst the winners at Wimbledon. Isn't that crazy?
Yep, but I'm sure that somewhere in the Middle East they're going to come up with a new tournament to go ahead and do like what they did with Live Golf.
Well, I hear right now today they just made some announcement that they are having some challenges with that due to the players. So we'll see what happens. That's going to be breaking news now in the next couple of days and weeks. We're going to see that happen, and so we'll see what happens. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to. I mean, this is IBM, so it's big time artificial intelligence. Watson, I believe that Watson actually beat a chess champion. Isn't that right?
Yeah, years back. Yeah, but
Yeah.
A lot has changed.
So
Since
now
then.
I wonder what they're going to do, because, they're basically going to be using artificial. I mean, I don't know how people are going to relate to the fact that the commentary is going to be a machine. I mean, that's really what it comes to. But Amazon is also experimenting with artificial intelligence to sum up customer feedback about the products on the site, with potential to cut down on time the shoppers, have to, sift through the reviews to make a purchase. So that they
also get rid of all the bogus reviews.
Yeah, there's a lot of bogus reviews, a lot of bots. And the other thing that Amazon right now is really, is being sued, because basically they suckered people. They say that they tricked millions of people signing up for the Prime subscription services through deceptive interfaces. So the FTC is now suing Amazon. And then there's the other thing that Amazon's going through is that, and I've known this for years, is that if you had a product that you were selling on Amazon, and again, remember, this is all opinions, so Amazon, don't sue me. But if you had a product you were selling on Amazon and you're doing well, the logarithms would pick that up, and then Amazon would start being your competitor, and then they would put their product in a higher search result spot against you. And that's another deceptive practice that Amazon did, So I don't know. There's a lot going on. So anybody flying this weekend?
Yeah, I'm flying home the day after July 4th. I'm flying home on the 5th. We'll see what happens with that.
I hear a lot of flights have been canceled. 700 and something flights were canceled yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, that's the storms on the East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Southwest, and I'm flying from Kansas City to Denver and Denver to Burbank. So I don't have to go through the Denver airport outside of security. I don't have to deal with any of that. So hopefully I'll be able to just sail right through.
Hey, the new Kansas City airport is really cool, David.
Oh, yeah? Good.
Yeah. Get there a little early and check it out. It's brand new.
Well, I hadn't been to Denver in a long time, and I was in the Southwest terminal, and they had tables with padded benches, like booths at the gate, and they had a lot of computer tables for people and big comfortable chairs, and they had Adirondacks chairs that could look out at the planes. I mean, that was really nice at that airport.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Osaka wasn't like that at all. They didn't have anything like that. I mean, they did have padded chairs, but they were so small you couldn't sleep. And it was, I mean,
Like you're in a
sometimes
movie.
it's a horror show having to be, having having to wait for another flight like 8-9 hours. It's just not cool.
Did you, by the way, did you end up going out? We had a very small meeting that time, if there was a meeting. You were laid over in Osaka. You were going to go out and go see the city, or did
It
you
was
just?
raining and foggy. It was amazing. It was like horrible weather. And I just felt like, I was so tired with jet lag that I didn't really think it was going to be a smart idea to go out there in really inclement weather. I didn't have a jacket, I didn't have anything, and it was raining and cold and foggy. So I decided to stay at the airport and stay at the club.
Also, Osaka is a long way from Kansai Airport. It's an hour and a half away.
Yeah, it looks like it's over the bridge. It's like on an island or something like that from where I stood. I couldn't even see really a city from the airport.
They
It
built
looked like everything was far away.
They built the airport over the water. They just filled in the land, which is why it's sinking. But it was nothing there. 100% manufactured.
Wow.
Like Hong Kong.
I didn't know that about Hong Kong. I just thought Hong Kong,
Oh, yeah.
they changed the airport in Hong Kong because the old airport, there was so much crosswind that planes were having trouble landing. So they moved the airport.
Yeah, I love flying in the Kai-Tak. I mean, literally, as you were landing, you could see people doing their laundry on their balconies, and you were so close. Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing airport, but that's gone. But no, the new one, they're having problems with it because, it's sinking as well. And they have they have a whole system that self-levels everything. But yeah.
Did you hear about the new Boeing and NASA combination of the X-plane? Have you heard about that? The X-plane, it's the next generation of single aisle planes, and it could have super long and skinny wings to cut fuel consumption by 30%. It'll be a little bit faster. And it's being designed right now. It'll be like basically a concept of cars in the sky, Pretty interesting as well.
That would be good. As long as,
as long as you're not heavy. As long as you're not heavy, because right now there's this whole thing now with people that need 2 seats because they're heavy, and now they're charging them for the extra seat. If you're too heavy, they're going to charge you for a second seat. But some airlines, what they do is they're going to charge you for the second seat. But if nobody's sitting next to you anyway, then they'll credit you back your ticket. But you got to buy 2 seats if you're too heavy. And Singapore Airline now is weighing people as they get on a plane.
Yeah, since I've been going to Bhutan since '98, and from Don Man, that was before BKK was even built. You'd they call the flight, and you go up and you step on the scale, and sometimes the seat that you wanted, you get reassigned to another seat, due to, if you have a Japanese wrestler, on the left-hand side of the plane, there's a whole bunch of people on the right-hand side of the plane.
Yeah. Yep. So what else is going on? Did you hear that 50 million people during the pandemic quit their job?
Sounds right.
50 million. That's what they're saying. 50 million. That's how many people quit their jobs after the height of COVID, citing various pressures like burnout or childcare, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That many people quit their job. And now they just found out that something like $200 billion of fraud money that people took advantage of the PPP. They're saying it could be more. And here I am. I did it right. And I got screwed over by Bank of America, completely screwed over. And to this day, Bank of America is still saying it was my fault and when it was their fault. And they lost the trade commission. They've been sued and they lost the case. And they're just acting like I'm a piece of shit. And then, I'm radioactive. Stay away from us. It's crazy. They sent me a package this big saying why they don't want to work with me anymore. Of course, I don't want to work with them either over this, but still, nonetheless, it's just bad news that many people robbed the system and an honest guy like me is paying the price. Hate it. Oh, well.
Did you see that?
Too.
I'm just going to bring up something, a little bit of a difference. Madonna canceled her world tour yesterday.
Yeah, she's got some sort of breathing problem.
Yeah, bacterial.
Yeah, I think
infection.
it's what they call it. When I see the ads on TV, like it's like an elephant sitting on your chest. ACHP, something like that.
COPD.
COPD, yeah. And I think that's what she has right now. But this year, man, concerts are going crazy. I mean, there's so many concerts out there. There's so many people that are performing, and it's really nuts on how many big money acts are out there playing right now.
And Live Nation is making a killing in the U.S. for sure.
Yeah, Live Nation and Ticketmaster, and now. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but basically the government just announced that now Ticketmaster and Live Nation have agreed so that now there'll be no more junk fees, and they have to, when you buy a ticket, they have to show you where all the money is going. I wonder if that's going to make a difference if you see the ticket. Well, artist gets $10, promoter gets 90, or whatever it is like that, whatever they're going to break it down. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Well, I mean, they're just showing it to you, but it's not going to be cheaper tickets. It's just going to, show it to you.
Yeah, it's just the ticket price. They're not going to say who gets what. They're just going to say fees cost this, the ticket costs that, and this is what it's going to cost you to buy it before you buy it.
Yeah, probably. There's so many complaints about that right now, but the number one top complaint in America right now is that it pertained to sales and repairs of new and used automobiles. That was the Consumer Reports basically reported that the number one complaint right now is about people on repairs of their car. It's like, I saw it myself when I went into the Toyota dealer. The guy was trying to upsell me on a repair. It was like crazy. I thought it was nuts.
Well, I thought I'm sure it's in the top 10, but like resort fees, you're from the land of resort fees right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just doesn't make. I mean, unless you win the lottery, it's not worth it to go to Las Vegas anymore.
Well, it's always worth to go. There are two ways to go to Las Vegas. You can go to Las Vegas on the Strip way, and you can go to the Las Vegas on the local way. And if you go to the Las Vegas on the Strip way, yeah, you're going to be paying a lot of money. I mean, Cosmopolitan Hotel, the Bellagio, the Caesar's Palace, the Wynn resorts, all of those are expensive. But then if you go, let's just say to what's that big hotel at the Stratosphere? You stay at the Stratosphere, you stay at the Orleans, you stay at the Westgate. All of those hotels are less money.
Green Valley. Yeah. And car rent, I don't know what car rentals are here. I don't know, but but unfortunately Mike Brown is not in the room to give us that information. But who knows? Anyway, another story that was really on my mind this week, which is crazy. This guy was working at the Harvard Medical School. Did you hear about this? And now he's facing federal charges. But basically, he was the morgue manager. And he was caught stealing body parts off of these cadavers and selling them on the black market at Harvard.
That's crazy. Anyway,
Yep, I'll have 2 kidneys and and a side of eyeballs to go, and 3 from column B.
would you like some fava beans with that? Quoting some movies. So speaking of health,
Is everybody-
so basically, there's going to be a new COVID vaccine coming out for the fall. That's going to be really a specialized vaccine. Does anybody know about that?
Nope.
Yeah, you heard it here first. There's going to be a new vaccine. It's going to protect only against one strain of the active COVID virus. But I'm telling you, I'm here in Las Vegas right now. I haven't seen a mask, and I'm the only one wearing a mask. I went to the doctor's office today. Only one person other than myself was wearing a mask. But I guess masks are a thing of the past.
but do you-
Well, I bet David is going to be wearing a mask in Chicago.
well, that's for breathing.
Yeah.
Smoke. But do you have it? Was your mask a KN95?
It was a K98, not quite 95. I mean, it's a higher number, but it wasn't as good as a 95.
It's a real mask. It's not just something to wear.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't one of those blue masks that you see everywhere. I happen to wear that in the doctor's office. But normally a blue mask would be fine. The 3M masks, with the triple insulation is fine with me. But I just, when you're flying international, you still have to wear a mask, at least. But they're not enforcing it as much. But are you wearing a mask, Greg? What's it like in Florida?
Off and on, mainly when we when you go to the doctor's office, that kind of stuff, where there's a bunch of sick people, go to the hospital, wear a mask. But when I go to the local convenience store, plus it's so hot here, we had a heat index today of 112. So
Yeah, and they got malaria now in Florida.
yep.
What's
Yep.
going on there?
Hey,
People aren't
Yeah.
getting vaccinations. Things are growing.
yeah, that's right. I won't get into politics about what they say. We're free to get every disease here in Florida.
Well, that's really good. I mean, I'll tell you something. We shouldn't get into politics on this show, but why not? I mean, there's one thing that's blowing my mind, and that is this tape that that CNN released of Donald Trump talking about having these papers and showing him the papers and saying that it's secret and I shouldn't be showing it. Well, he doesn't say I shouldn't be showing it to you, but it's on the, on the QT, and he's ruffling. And the one thing that bothers me about that, I mean, there's many things that bother me, but they're laughing. They're all laughing about it. They're sharing national secrets that, that people might have died to get, and they're laughing as if it's a joke what they're doing. And nobody mentions that.
Here's the problem with that, Jan. Here's the problem with that. It's an audio only recording. There's no proof that he actually had any in his hands that was valuable. And he can say, which he is now saying, he was just bullshitting, and his reputation is solid bullshit. So unfortunately, his defense is going to have some weight to it.
Well, the
Can't
whole
prove-
thing is, David, is in regards to that, and I'm not talking about I'm just talking about the levity that they had about that, how they were laughing and how they were talking about Anthony Weiner and that kind of, while showing now they have witnesses that were in that room that saw those papers. And they, it wasn't like one or two people, it was 5 people, and they all had to testify in a grand jury. And I am positive that we're all going to find out whether or not it was real or not. But for right now, the whole thing is how cavalier they all were in the room. Not about anything else, just how cavalier they were in regards, and nobody seems to mention that they were laughing while they were showing these secret documents. Or maybe, hey, Maybe you're right. Maybe there weren't secret documents. Maybe that's why they were laughing, But hey, by the way, bring in some Cokes when we're at it. So there you have it. Anyway, I don't know. But it just seemed to me that that's the thing that bothered me the most, is how they were laughing about it, and not anything else. I mean, other than if it was real secret documents and he shouldn't have it. But I mean, basically, he shouldn't have the documents, even if, no matter what. That's all there is to it. And we'll see what happens. He's still ahead in the polls of the Republicans. And I believe that at this point in time that, if the primaries were held today, it would be Joe Biden and Donald Trump running against each other again. And we would all be in horrible shape, because I just don't think that that's what anybody really wants to see. A rematch of Biden and Trump. I mean, I know I don't. So there we have it. So another thing that's happening is that, that you mentioned convenience store, Greg. I went into the store here and I was shocked that now you can't get anything anymore without somebody coming up to help you, because everything's behind plexiglass.
Right. Well, that's a big thing in populated areas. I mean, I saw, I have a friend of mine who just moved from San Francisco back home to Florida. And he said, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's all plexiglass, and you got to have somebody come unlock it for you. And then you get your toothpaste or whatever, bottle of liquor, or your Diet Coke, and then they lock it back up and you go up front, so.
You know what they're saying? They're saying it's organized crime now. They're saying shoplifting is a big part of organized crime. And they interviewed the chief financial officer of Target. His name is Michael Fidecki or something like that. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. And he said its earnings in November of 2022, that shoplifting jumped about 50% over the year, resulting in over $400 million in losses. And Walmart said the same thing. That now it's organized crime moving into shoplifting, which is crazy.
Must pay.
Now, so let's get some good news. Americans and people all over the world now are drinking so much groundwater and using so much groundwater that the Earth axis has shifted.
Wow.
That's why your clock, sometimes you're running late. It's because the Earth axis has shifted. Oh, well.
Yep.
So what else is going on? Anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
There's a new venue in Clearwater. It's called The Sound. It's on Coachman Park. It's opening today. It's 5,000 seat outdoor. Right there on the water. Cheap Trick is opening act, sold out.
Now, is there any original members in that band anymore? Is Rick Nielsen still the lead in that band?
Well, I'm not sure actually, because the opening act is the Robin Zander band. Kurt may know.
They're all original except the drummer.
There you go. I mean, I guess a lot of the bands are getting older and older, and as long as one band member owns the name, they can keep going with it.
Yikes.
So, Kurt, you never told us where you are. Are you in Washington or Oregon?
Driving back a bit. I'm in Washington now, or maybe a half hour from the shop.
Oh, very good. Well, how's the traffic? Is it good? Is it good traffic or bad traffic?
Oh, it's a little rough outside of Portland, but it's fine. Now we're coming up on Olympia.
Well, that sounds like a show title. It's a little rough outside of Portland. I like that, although I went with another show title. I went with rambling thoughts and whatever, because basically I'm just rambling all over the place today. And it's I don't know, it's like, it's crazy what's going on in the world right now, crazy what's happening in my life, crazy being in Las Vegas, crazy being away from the person you love, all that stuff, you know?
Yep, you must have, are you Zooming together or FaceTiming or?
Or double
You and Bob.
timing. No, we are actually WhatsApping.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, WhatsApping seems to be the way to go. There's a few services all over the world. I always find that FaceTime, you know, the Apple method of communication is by far the best, both sonically and visually. When you're using FaceTime, Apple really has got it together. The tonal qualities of the voice using FaceTime audio or FaceTime video is far superior to anything else out there right now. And a lot of times I will make a phone call to somebody that if I see that they are on the Apple environment, I will use FaceTime to call them rather than an actual the wireless carrier that I'm using, because it's so much better. It's just so much better. But in Thailand, basically people use Line and WhatsApp and FaceTime and Messenger, which of course is one of the worst. Messenger is horrible.
Right.
I hate when people call me on Messenger. But again, that's my opinion, you know. But the best I find is actually FaceTime. And now we're using Zoom. We switched over, our company switched over to using Zoom for Zoom phones and interfaces. It's really good. I mean, I have to give credit to where credit is due, that the Zoom phone system is good, except for one thing, that if you do have a problem, their customer service is really horrible, because you can't get anybody on the phone. You have to deal with them through an email or a live chat, and the live chat people are just basically, you know, first tier. They don't really know anything. Like, for example, one of the things, Josh Zimmerman just walked into the room, and now we could ask him. So Josh, where are you? He wants to be the strong silent type. Okay, we'll leave.
He's driving.
He is. Anyway, so David, you're going to be where again? Wisconsin.
Hey, Josh, talk to us for a minute. Where are you?
I'm driving right now in Wisconsin, and we are under that stupid fog hasting from the Canada wildfires.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to Summerfest in Milwaukee.
Summerfest in
Oh,
Milwaukee. How far
yeah,
away
it's
you
about
from there?
About an hour and 20 minutes.
What's that?
I'm about an hour and 20 from Summerfest.
Either.
Well, David is going to be there.
Sweet. Yeah, I haven't been
It's
there in
summer.
I haven't been there in 6 years.
And something tells me the way he's saying that, David, next year he's going to be able to say, I haven't been there in 7 years.
Well, I just wanted to know if you wanted to come and see the band I'm working with.
What band's that?
It's an Eagles tribute band called Hotel California.
Oh, they played up in my area. Oh, God. Years ago, I worked with them or I didn't work with them, but they played at a festival up in my area. I saw them. They were really good. But yeah, what time do they play tomorrow?
Don't know. I have to look it up.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're inside the inner chat, by the way, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I think that our chat now is open all the time. But Josh, you know how to reach me. Send me an email and I'll send you David's contact information. Also, I'll send you a cell phone number so that you could
phone number and I'll text you. Tell you all.
Yeah, and that you could reach David. All right. There you go. Are you working tomorrow?
I'm supposed to. I don't know. I might take the day off.
Well, there you have it. So you might get to meet Josh, David, and David, you might get to, and vice versa. So there you have it. Anyway, anybody else have anything they want to say? Well, I'll leave you with this. In Thailand right now, there was an election and the new party is coming in, the Move Forward Party and the Pew Thai. Don't ask me how to spell it, but it has been against the law for you to say anything negative about the royal family or do anything to impede their traffic, whatever. Anyway, there were some Thai protesters that were up on trial and they were facing life in prison. And in a landmark judgment today, the Thai court acquitted the 5 activists who were accused of obstructing the Queen's motorcade at a protest. And so that's pretty amazing because that never would have happened before. And now it's possible things are going to be changing in Thailand. And I think based on this, I think it's going to be changing for the best. So I'm happy for those people that just obstructed the Queen, that they're not going to be spending life imprisonment. As a matter of fact, they've been acquitted and they're going to be set free from prison. And that's amazing to me. And I'm happy for them. So unless anybody has anything else to say, I would recommend that you stay out of boats in Europe because the orca whales now are attacking boats. So be careful. Be careful. If you're in a boat in Europe and you're in the sound of my voice, watch out for the orcas. That's all I can say. Watch out for the orcas. They are big fish, you know, or actually they're mammals. They're not even fish, right?
Right.
There you go. I hope you learned something today about orcas attacking boats and not being fish, even though they do live in the ocean. Who would have known? Who would have thought that?
That's
Anyway, remember, everything you heard today is opinion. Do your own research. This was our 162nd meeting. A lot of people are working right now, and I'm happy for everybody that's working. And I really want to appreciate everybody that comes into the room, and I do appreciate you. And I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for all the support you've given me over the last 3 years. We're going to keep going until I can't go anymore. So next week will be our 163rd meeting. Remember to give us a thumbs up. If you're in the meeting and you want to tag yourself, subscribe to our channel. You could be the, what could you be? You could be the 355th subscriber to our YouTube channel, which would be amazing. I would love it. And you could watch us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or wherever you get your great podcasts. So I've been negligent though in posting the podcast, but we'll do that again soon. I just had too much on my mind and too much traveling. So with that in mind, just remember, you make it happen. Unless there's anything that anybody wants to say, this is your last opportunity to speak to social media right now. What do you want to say?
Have a good week.
See you, everybody.
Silence is
Have
golden.
a happy 4th of July.
A happy 4th of July. That's right. We won't see you till after the 4th. So may the 4th be with you. That's it.
Hey, I saw a shirt today and I thought it was kind of funny. I was actually going to buy it. It says fireworks pyrotechnician. If I run, you run. I saw that. I was like, that would be perfect.
And with that, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Yeah, we'll be here on the 5th, one day after the 4th. Of course, that's how it is every month, though. The 5th always comes after the 4th. So with that in mind, remember, you make it happen. Be safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you again next week. And until then, this is Jan Landy saying, have a great week, and we'll talk to you again really soon. Thanks for watching, and remember to give us the thumbs up. All right, talk to you soon.